There's so little metal there now.
Now, as you just seen from that video, last time we left off, we made a, well, I didn't, my dad did, made a hole into the sump. He ended up turning the screw too far, too hard, too tight, and it broke. So, cross-threaded the sump. We had to find a way to repair it. So what we're doing right now is just taking off the bottom of the sump. Now this car has two sumps, I think. So this is what you call the lower sump. So we're just taking it off. It's just 10mm bolts. There's about 20, nearly 25 of them going around. Now, as you see what I'm doing here, what we realise is there's a second sump plug for some reason on this car. We've got no idea why you would have a second sump plug, because when it comes to servicing, it never says to use it. So we really didn't understand why. We're just taking off the last screws now. And then he's going to take a plastic wedge because it's kind of soldered together. He's just going to tap it a few times in a few locations, and as you can see, it just falls right off. Now he's just going to clean it off. There's a little bit of oil and a bit of dirt stuck in some areas, but in general it was really not that bad. It was pretty clean for such a high managed car. As you see here, I'm going to show you around. Pretty normal, pretty clean for a sump. It's really good. And when the oil came out, it was still pretty golden like, even though it's been about a year. And here's the area for the second sump plug. It's just next to the sensor. Now it's a bit smaller of a bolt, it's a bit weirder. There's the bolt right there, and there's the other bolts that we put on the cardboard to remember where they're going. As you can see, it's a bit bigger, but it's quite small when it goes in, but apparently it's absolutely fine to use.
Look how thin, see that groove?
Look how thin, see that groove? No, well, I haven't caused that groove. No, but how can I have cut something so perfectly oblong as that? And also, it's almost as if when they've tapped the hole to this drain plug, they've tapped it too close to this edge, because look at how much more metal.
Now I did realise after watching that little hole in around of the sump plug, that's for the oil to drain, so it wasn't us that caused it, but he was still right in saying that they seem to have tapped it too close to one side and the other. Now, whilst in between, we ended up dropping the sump at a garage nearby who did aluminium welding. So once we left them to it, we ended up changing the fuel filter. So to do that, we're going to take the under tray on this left side. It's pretty easy, it's just some clips and a few bolts, but it was underneath the lift arm, so we had to bring it back down to take it off and then put it back up. After that's been taken off, we can put the arm back in and the car can go back up. Now, whilst we were doing this, we were also going to change the front grills. We still have the original ones that had silver trim around them. My dad had replaced them for some black ones, but over time they've broken and they've just been coming out and it's not been too great. What's also degraded is the little free coloured M badge colours that were on the side of the grill, so I was doing that whilst he was cleaning up the area. Now these are pretty easy to fit in, they just clip around the metal off the bonnet and then you just push them in. As simple as that. As you see, once I'm done, I'm going to put them back in now. Or my dad is going to, because I think I struggled quite a bit to do it. Now once they're in, we realised they were much better than the old ones. They actually stay in pretty well instead of half going out. Now whilst we were doing this, we did realise there was a bit of a puddle of oil beneath the car lift, and what we realized is that one of the screws of the pipes wasn't tight enough, so we just had to take that off quickly and repair it. Now, when we were under here, I don't think the fuel filter had been changed for about 10 years. So as you can see, we're going to be struggling around here. The first thing you need to do is on the left side, there's a little bit of a tire pressure bit, which you can point with a screwdriver and it'll let the pressure out. In this case, we'll let the pressure and fuel out. And after that, you can try and remove the right side of the fuel filter, which is just a pain. It's supposed to be an easy clip that you push and pull off, but it's been on there for so long, it's basically just corroded itself to the metal. So as you're going to see in a minute, the technique we had to use is just use 2 spanners and just force it off. Now on the new filter, it did go back on. Not sure if it's going to come off again, but as you can see here, it's come off. And same thing on the right side, it's just some spanners for some nuts to remove. Now after we did that, we came back with the oil sump. As you can see, he's just welded in that place. So that oil sump plug is going to be filled forever with some aluminium, and we're just going to use the other sump plug because we might as well have got the second one. Now he said it'd be perfectly fine to re-tap, but for now we're not going to take the risk. We're just going to use the other one. As you can see, I'm putting back in the bolts. Now you just want to do them in opposite order, and then it's up to 8 Newton meters, I think, of tightness, which is really not that much. Now what I was doing is I was doing 5 and then going around again doing 8, and the sump plug on the side I think was 25 Newton meters. Now that that's all done, we're going to bring the car back down and fill it full of oil. Now if I remember right, we put about 5 or 6 litres in, I think. That's the first, this is the second, the third. Now I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but this car uses 1060 supercar oil, which is quite expensive, and we're obviously using some Castrol Edge. Now after that was filled up, we just wanted to run the car to make sure that no oil was leaking or fuel.
Yeah.
A bit of a tough startup. And I'm checking on the other side for any petrol leaks, but everything seemed fine. Now after that, we moved on to another project that we had. This is the 2-litre TDI A3 that I had before my TT that I'm now giving to my sister. We've always suspected this massive lip on the rear brake disc, so we were going to remove the brakes to put on some new brake discs and new pads. Now to do these brakes, it's pretty simple. Apart from the first thing you need to do, because it's got an electronic handbrake, you've got to use an Autel or whatever other device you want to use to unrelease the parking brake so that you can remove the pistons properly and remove the brake pads, of course. So what we realized as well is to undo the big 2 bolts at the back, you needed a 7mm Allen key, which is a bit of an odd size. But all the bits we had, when we fitted it onto the wrench, it was too big. So we could never fit it on, so we had to go out and buy some Allen keys. So it's pretty simple. There's 2 bolts at the back that remove the caliper from what's holding the caliper on. Then it's 2 more bolts that are used to push the caliper back and forwards, which you should grease with some copper grease, as you can see that I'm doing here. Now it's a bit of a lengthy process when you're just using an Allen key, but it's the only way we could do it because nothing else would fit. Now after that's been removed, those 2 bolts, the best way to do it is to use some zip ties to hook it out of the way if you don't want to bend your brake line pipe or disconnect it, because you don't have to disconnect anything to change your brake pads, but it was a bit of a short distance of cable, so we just left it to the side because we couldn't zip tie it on there. Now 2 more bolts that go on the back that we had to use the prise bar to take off because they were insanely tight. After that's been taken off, we just leave it to the side. And the next thing to do is to remove the brake discs. Now there's just 1 little bolt holding it on, because normally you've got your wheel that holds it on for you at the same time. So that used, I think it was a Phillips screw, weirdly. Now what we were going to do before putting on the new ones was just going to clean it about, put some copper grease on them. Don't put copper grease on your discs, but on the rest you can. Now, as you can see here, I was kind of struggling to take them off because they tend to weld themselves. I was trying to use a rubber mallet, but just use a metal one and a few taps, it comes straight off. Now here's where I'm going to use a wire brush to clean around the edges. Just makes it look a lot cleaner, silver instead of being a bit rusty or black or whatever's happened to the rotors. Now instead I just started to use the wire brush on the drill because I'm lazy. Now I was just helping my dad on the other side. Now he's going to apply the copper grease on the motors on this side. Now what I did realise now, which I'm going to show you on the video, is my dad bought the wrong brake discs. As I'm going to show you right now, they are enormous. They're about twice the size and they're ventilated, unlike the ones on the back are. As you can see, compared to the smaller pads, discs, they are completely different size. So we had to order some new ones, and we're just going to keep these new ones for the front wheels and have to do them later on when the front discs start to wear. So for the time being, what we're going to do is just hook back on the brake caliper just so it holds in place and doesn't start to wear on the cable. And we're just going to have to wait for a few days until it comes back. Now, we took the car off the ramp and that's when we did the M5. But for now, the video is stitched this way. Now, whilst we were at it, this little, I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's a bit of a heat shield for the oil sump at the front. It was covered in oil and we had no idea if there was an oil leak or if it's just after a bad couple of oil changes, because the filter is right above behind some cables, as you can see here, and you always get oil everywhere. It's impossible to doing it without fault. So all I was going to do is disconnect the cable for the oil temperature. And what we also did, which wasn't too great, is when we put the ramp up, we kind of squished the side because we put it in a bad place. Here's a clip of us putting the brake pads back on, so just simply put the screws in a tiny bit just so they hold on, nothing too tight. Now this was the next day, or a few days later actually, so we take the wheels back off, unscrew the bolts for the brake pads, sorry, and then after that we can put on the new brake discs. As you can see, these ones actually fit properly, much smaller than the new ones. Now these were Brembo that we bought. They weren't too bad. I think they were 30 euros each, which was quite cheap. And I think the front ones were about 50, so again, not too bad, but they're just normal discs. They're not drilled, well, they are ventilated, the front ones, but they're not drilled or anything like that, so hopefully they weren't going to be too expensive. But still, for Brembo, it's really not that bad. So it's the same thing in reverse. You put the brake disc on, put the little screw in that was holding it in, and it's just back to putting the brake disc the same way. Now the one thing we did do wrong, which I'm not sure if I'm doing right now, is there is one of the brake pads that has a spring on it. Now for some reason when we took the brake pads off for the first time, the spring was nearest to us and not facing the inside of the brake caliper. You want the spring one to be on the outside because you get your own spring that you take off in the first place for the caliper on the front. We tried putting as you can see, my dad's trying to put on the caliper of the brake discs the wrong way around, and it was just impossible to do. As you can see, I'm going to do my side as well. Now for me it wasn't too bad, it was pretty easy. But again, if you put the brake pads the wrong way around, of course it's going to be difficult. It was a bit of a stupid thing for us to do. And after that I'm going to reapply the spring back on for the front. And the rotor and the discs spin fine, so everything's okay. Now, as you can see what I'm doing here, when I was a bit of a stupid idiot a few years, 1 or 2 years ago, I decided to put some holes in the exhaust thinking it would make it louder. It does not, so I had to TIG weld it back up. It wasn't too bad, it was pretty simple, but obviously not great. Hopefully it passes the control technique in France. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to patch them up even better. After that, we're just going to put the wheels back on, put the bolts back in. It's pretty easy with this new lift instead of the scissor ramp we used to have before. And then we're going to bring it back down, and it's down to 120 Newton meters, I'm pretty sure it is. Here I am doing the welding. So it's just a simple TIG welder for metal, for steel mostly. Aluminium is something completely different, that's why we had to get a garage to do it for us. But after I sorted out my mistake, the next thing to do was to go back inside of the car and re-engage the parking brake. So as you can see, these are all the fault codes that appear on the dash when you disengage it. It's completely normal. It will reset itself once you re-engage it. Now it was a bit difficult to find, but somewhere it's called brake re-engagement or changing discs and pads, or servicing brakes. It's something along those lines. So as soon as they were on, that was no problem. What we also wanted to do is change the fuel filter. Now he was supposed to change this a few days ago, but again, he bought the wrong thing somehow. So I bought the right one for him, and it's pretty simple. It's just left to the engine. There's a few clips that have got to come off for the pipes, and then you just undo a few screws. I think the 10mm bolts, or they might be Torx bits, and you just put it out, change the filter, and that's it. Now after the A3 was done, I also received my new RS grill for my TT, because after a few days of looking at the silver grills, as you can see here, I just didn't like it. So here I am going to take off the bumper again. So again, it's the same thing. take off the plastic protectors that are protecting the screws for the headlights. Headlights are done by 3 screws, that's all, not too bad. There's 2 10mm bolts on the side that are holding the bumper to the car. Just take those off as well, and there's a few bolts holding the grille to the car as well, not too bad. Then when you can take the bumper off, and if you lay it on the ground, there's just a few 10mm bolts that hold the grille to it. So take them out and just pull out the clips basically, put it back in with the new some more bolts. The only issue is you've got to take off your license plate, so that's what I had to do, and then I had to, well, you're supposed to rivet them in France, but the ones I had weren't long enough to go through it, plus the plastic, into the grille, blah blah blah, etc. So I used some screws and a nut. It's not technically legal, but I'm just gonna have to do for now. And then going back on, same issue, 2 bolts, and then headlights and screws for the headlights. Now, as you can see, the side grills are still silver. I did end up replacing them with some RS grills as well. I just didn't get to it in this video, but they were easy. You just pull them out and push them back in. As you can see, it looks way better than the silver grill. Looks just much better. So happy with it.